What if I told you that Amish families grow abundant food in exhausted soil without buying fertilizer? That certain plants actually prefer poor conditions and produce better without amendments? Traditional Amish plant selection refined over 300 years proves nutrient-poor soil isn't a limitation. And today, I'm going to show you 10 plants. Beans, nitrogen fixers. Bush and pole beans thrive in poor soil through nitrogen-fixing bacteria in root nodules converting atmospheric nitrogen into plant-available form. Rhizobium bacteria colonize roots creating visible pink nodules that manufacture nitrogen. Requirements include only adequate drainage and warm soil above 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Amish practice plants beans in depleted areas, improving soil for following crops. Harvest produces 10 to 15 pounds per 10-foot row without fertilizer. The result leaves soil richer than before planting through nitrogen deposits. Jerusalem artichoke, sunchoke. Jerusalem artichoke spreads aggressively in any soil including heavy clay, sand, and nutrient-depleted ground. The perennial sunflower relative produces edible tubers tasting like water chestnuts with nutty sweetness. Requirements need only sun and occasional water during establishment. Amish tradition plants in poor corners where nothing else grows successfully. Harvest yields 10 to 30 pounds of tubers per plant after first frost sweetens them. Growth reaches 6 to 10 feet tall, creating privacy screens or windbreaks. Warning includes spreading because plants return vigorously from any tuber fragment left in soil. Mustard greens. Mustard greens tolerate poor sandy or clay soil, producing abundant spicy leaves without amendments. Fast growth from seed to harvest takes just 30 to 40 days in spring or fall. Requirements include cool weather between 45 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit for best flavor. Amish gardens plant succession crops every 2 weeks for continuous harvest. Nutritional value delivers high levels of vitamins A, C, and K plus calcium and iron. The harvest method cuts outer leaves, allowing the center to continue producing for months. Traditional preparation includes cooking with bacon or pickling young leaves. Bonus benefit shows mustard roots break up compacted soil while suppressing soil-borne diseases. Radishes. Radishes germinate and mature in poor soil faster than any other vegetable at just 22 to 30 days from seed. Root development penetrates compacted clay and hardpan, breaking up dense layers. Requirements need only consistent moisture and cool temperatures below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Amish practice uses radishes as soil conditioners planted before main crops. Varieties include small red globe types, French breakfast elongated, and daikon radishes reaching 18 inches deep. Harvest timing picks when roots reach marble to golf ball size before becoming pithy. Succession planting every week extends harvest through spring and fall. Leaves remain edible as spicy salad greens are cooked like spinach when young. Kale produces abundantly in poor soil, becoming sweeter after frost exposure without any fertilization. Cold-hardy nature survives temperatures down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, continuing production through winter. Requirements include full sun and adequate water during the establishment period. Amish tradition values kale as reliable winter green when nothing else grows. Nutritional density provides exceptional levels of vitamins A, C, and K plus calcium and antioxidants. The harvest method picks lower leaves first, allowing the crown to continue producing new growth for 6 to 8 months. Varieties include curly kale, lacinato dinosaur kale, and Russian red kale with different textures. Traditional preparation cooks with ham hocks or makes chips by baking with oil and salt. Buckwheat, soil builder and grain. Buckwheat thrives in the poorest soil conditions where other grains fail completely while simultaneously improving soil structure and fertility. This fast-growing pseudo-grain belongs to the rhubarb family, unrelated to wheat despite the name. The Amish discovered buckwheat's unique ability to scavenge phosphorus from poor soil through specialized root exudates. Growing requirements prove minimal, with buckwheat tolerating acidic soil down to pH 5.0. Sandy soil, clay soil, and rocky ground all support vigorous growth. Temperature preferences span 45 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. The plant actually performs better in poor soil because excess nitrogen causes lodging. Planting timing uses buckwheat as summer cover crop sown after spring vegetables. Broadcast seeds at 2 to 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet. Germination occurs within 3 to 5 days. Growth reaches maturity in just 30 to 40 days from seed to flower. Soil improvement benefits show extensive fibrous root systems, breaking up compacted layers. The plant accumulates calcium from a deep soil profile. Phosphorus scavenging unlocks bound phosphorus. Allelopathic compounds suppress weeds during growth. Grain harvest waits until 75% of seeds turn brown, typically 70 to 90 days after planting. Yield produces 15 to 30 pounds of grain per 1,000 square feet without fertilization. Traditional Amish use grind grain into flour for pancakes and porridge. Buckwheat groats eaten as hot cereal. Nutritional value delivers complete protein with all the scent. Sorrel, perennial sour green. Sorrel establishes as a permanent perennial producing lemony sour leaves for decades in nutrient-depleted soil without fertilization. This member of the buckwheat family develops deep taproots reaching 4 to 6 feet, mining minerals from subsoil layers other plants cannot access. Amish gardens maintain sorrel patches for generations with plants living 20 years or more in the same location. Growing requirements show sorrel tolerating pH from 5.5 to 7.5, thriving in acidic conditions where other greens fail. Clay soil, sandy soil, or rocky ground all support vigorous growth. Cold hardiness survives winter temperatures to minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit with roots surviving even when tops die back. The planting method starts from seeds, divisions, or purchase plants in spring or fall. Seeds germinate in 7 to 14 days when soil reaches 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Space plants 12 to 18 inches apart. First-year growth establishes a root system with light harvest possible. Second year and beyond brings full production of 2 to 4 pounds of leaves per plant annually. The harvest method cuts outer leaves when 4 to 6 inches long, leaving the center crown to continue producing. Spring and fall provide the best flavor with mild lemony tartness. Nutritional value provides vitamin C at levels higher than citrus fruits, plus vitamin A, iron, magnesium, and potassium. Oxalic acid content remains moderate, similar to spinach. Traditional Amish preparation adds sorrel to salads for lemony tang without vinegar. Sorrel soup blends sorrel with potatoes and cream. Young leaves substitute for lemon juice in any recipe needing acidity. Its soil improvement occurs as deep taproots mine calcium, potassium, and trace minerals from subsoil. When leaves drop and decompose, these minerals enrich topsoil. The taproot breaks up hardpan and compacted layers. Amaranth, grain and greens. Amaranth produces abundant grain and edible leaves in the most depleted soil where modern crops fail, making it the ultimate survival crop. This ancient grain sustained Aztec civilizations for thousands of years in marginal growing conditions. Amish adoption came through awareness of amaranth's exceptional productivity in exhausted fields, producing 1,000 to 3,000 seeds per flower head. Growing requirements show amaranth thriving in soil too poor for corn or wheat, including heavy clay and depleted sandy ground. pH tolerance spans 6.0 to 8.0. Drought tolerance after establishment ranks among highest of all vegetable crops. Heat-loving nature requires soil temperature above 65 degrees Fahrenheit, with best growth at 75 to 85 degrees. The planting method broadcasts tiny seeds mixed with sand for even distribution or plants in rows 18 to 24 inches apart. Germination occurs in 4 to 7 days in warm soil. Early growth appears slow as roots establish, then dramatic growth begins reaching 4 to 8 feet tall. Dual-purpose harvesting begins with young leaves at 4 to 6 inches as spinach substitute. Grain harvest waits until seed heads turn brown, typically 90 to 120 days from planting. Cut entire seed heads into bags before fully dry. Yield varies by variety and conditions. Nutritional excellence shows amaranth grain containing complete protein with all essential amino acids. Calcium content exceeds milk by weight. Iron levels are 3 times higher than wheat. No gluten makes amaranth safe for celiac disease. Traditional preparation popped seeds like tiny popcorn when heated in dry pan. Ground grain makes flour for pancakes and porridge. Leaves cook like spinach or eat raw when young. Purslane, omega-3, superfood weed. Purslane thrives as an aggressive weed in the most neglected, compacted, nutrient-depleted soil while delivering the highest plant-based omega-3 content of any vegetable. This succulent ground cover spreads rapidly in conditions where gardeners struggle to grow anything. Amish communities value purslane as both food and medicine, deliberately cultivating it in poor corners. Growing requirements prove minimal with purslane germinating in soil too compacted for most seeds to penetrate. Temperature needs include warm soil above 60 degrees Fahrenheit with best growth at 70 to 90 degrees. Drought tolerance exceeds nearly all vegetables because succulent leaves store water. Plants actually perform better in poor soil than rich soil. Its self-seeding nature means planting once establishes permanent purslane presence through prolific seed production of 50,000 to 100,000 seeds per plant. Seeds remain viable in soil for 40 years or longer. Nutritional superiority delivers 300 to 400 milligrams omega-3 alpha-linolenic acid per 100 grams, more than any other leafy vegetable. Vitamin A content reaches 1,320 IU per 100 grams. Vitamin C provides 21 milligrams per 100 grams. Vitamin E, magnesium, calcium, potassium, and iron round out exceptional nutritional profiles. The harvest method picks tender stems and leaves when plants reach 4 to 6 inches tall. Morning harvest captures the highest moisture content. Continuous harvest encourages tender new growth. Traditional Amish preparation adds purslane raw to salads for lemony crunch. Quick sauté with garlic for 2 to 3 minutes creates a simple side dish. Pickled purslane preserves summer abundance. Worldwide recognition shows purslane cultivation in Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, Asian, and Mexican cuisines for thousands of years. Wild foraging identifies purslane by succulent paddle-shaped leaves and reddish stems. Comfrey. Comfrey establishes as a permanent perennial living 20-plus years in poor soil while producing more biomass per square foot than any other temperate plant, creating a living fertilizer factory. Deep taproots reaching 10 feet mine calcium, potassium, phosphorus, and trace minerals from subsoil depths. Other plants never access, concentrating them in fast-growing leaves. Amish farms plant comfrey as a permanent nutrient source, harvesting leaves 3 to 5 times annually to feed gardens without purchasing fertilizer. Growing requirements show comfrey tolerating pH from 6.0 to 8.0 in clay, sand, rocky, or depleted soil. Sun requirements range from full sun to partial shade, with production highest in full sun. Cold hardiness survives to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit with roots alive, even when tops freeze. Yet heat tolerance continues growth through summer heat waves. Moisture preferences favor consistent moisture, but drought tolerance after establishment allows survival through dry periods. Soil compaction doesn't deter comfrey with roots penetrating hardpan and other plants cannot break. Planting method uses root cuttings rather than seeds because most cultivated comfrey varieties are sterile, preventing invasive spreading. Root cuttings 2 to 3 inches long, planted 2 to 4 inches deep and 2 to 3 feet apart. Spring or fall planting establishes roots before dormancy or growing season. First-year growth stays modest as deep roots establish. Second year and beyond brings full production with massive leaves reaching 2 feet long. Plants live 20 to 30 years in the same location without replanting. Biomass production delivers 4 to 5 cuttings annually in growing season, producing 3 to 5 pounds of leaves per plant per cutting. Total annual production reaches 15 to 25 pounds fresh weight per plant. Dry weight after composting provides approximately 3 to 5 pounds of concentrated organic matter and minerals per plant annually. Nutrient content analysis shows comfrey leaves containing NPK approximately 1.8-0.5-5.3 with emphasis on potassium. Calcium content exceeds most other plant materials. Trace minerals including boron, copper, iron, magnesium, manganese, and zinc accumulate from deep mining. Allantoin compound promotes cell growth and healing in plants and animals. Carbon to nitrogen ratio of 10 to 1 makes comfrey ideal activator for compost piles. Traditional Amish uses chopped fresh leaves as mulch around tomatoes, peppers, and heavy feeders. Comfrey tea ferments chopped leaves in water for 2 to 4 weeks, creating dark liquid fertilizer diluted 10 to 1 before application. Compost activator layers comfrey between brown materials, accelerating decomposition. Chicken feed supplements protein and minerals when wilted leaves are fed to poultry. Medicinal salves use leaves for healing wounds, bruises, and broken bones externally, only because internal consumption can cause liver damage. Varieties include Bocking 14, sterile hybrid preventing invasive spreading while producing highest biomass. Russian comfrey shows blue flowers and aggressive spreading through seeds and roots. Common comfrey produces purple flowers and spreads moderately. Variegated comfrey offers ornamental value with cream-edge leaves and same nutrient accumulation. A harvest technique cuts leaves 2 inches above crown when reaching 2 feet tall, typically every 4 to 6 weeks during growing season. First cutting in spring produces most biomass. Subsequent cuttings remain productive through fall. Stop cutting 6 weeks before first expected frost, allowing crown to store energy for winter. Wear gloves because leaves have tiny hairs, causing skin irritation in sensitive individuals. Companion planting benefits vegetables growing near comfrey through nutrient sharing as comfrey roots bring up minerals, making them available to neighboring plants. Fruit trees planted with comfrey rings benefit from continuous nutrient cycling. Dynamic accumulator function concentrates nutrients from deep soil, making them accessible to shallow-rooted crops. Cautions include preventing spreading by planting sterile varieties like Bocking 14. Any root fragment left in soil regenerates into new plant-making removal, difficult once established. Choose planting location carefully because comfrey will occupy that space permanently. Internal consumption prohibited because pyrrolizidine alkaloids can cause liver damage, though external use remains safe and traditional. These 10 Amish plants prove that poor soil doesn't prevent abundant food production when choosing crops adapted to low nutrient conditions. 300 years of observation identified plants that not only survive, but thrive where modern fertilizer-dependent crops fail completely. The foundation combines nitrogen-fixing legumes, deep-rooted soil miners, and crops evolved in marginal conditions. Each plant serves multiple purposes beyond food production, including soil building, mineral accumulation, and biomass generation. Traditional Amish wisdom recognizes that working with plant nature rather than against it reduces labor and cost while improving results. Poor soil transforms into productive garden through strategic plant selection over 2 to 3 years without purchasing inputs. Start with beans and radishes for quick results, while establishing perennials like comfrey and sorrel. Within 3 seasons, depleted ground becomes fertile through plant-driven soil building. Never let poor soil stop you from growing food because these plants turn limitation into opportunity.